Right, so for a while now I've always wondered like what motivated you in first wanting to become a police officer, what your first motivations were and how that progressed from there.
Well, basically my passion was the martial arts, and I never would envision a way of like trying to make money off my passion. I just didn't feel that it would ever be a point where I could ever like make a martial arts school and make a living off of it. So I tried to find jobs that, you know, in a way, start right here, in a way had meaning to me. You know what I mean? Like, but it's hard to find a job that's meaningful, because most of all the jobs out there are about like just profiting off of stuff that people don't really need. It's like you're just trying to keep selling people more and more stuff that they don't need. I tried a few management jobs, it didn't go well. Like I did like maybe like worked for 1 day at Radio Shack, worked at Dominick's for like 3 days. Then I worked at Blockbuster as an assistant manager. Maybe I did that for like about 6 months. That didn't work out. And then what I ended up doing is security. And I liked security, but the pay was really low. Like you barely get paid anything. But what I liked about security was that it allowed me to read a lot of books, because I'd be like a door person. And sometimes I work like a midnight shift, and I would like read books. I would read a lot of books, and then I would also I would have time to write. So basically it was like, in my way, it was like getting paid to do like spiritual training for the martial arts. That was my way of getting paid, but I wasn't getting paid much. Now then my sister said, hey, you know, there's a police officer position open at you know, this Northwestern school. She's like, why don't you go for it? And then I asked Jenny, I was like, hey, you know, would you mind if I go for this position? At first, like a long time ago, I asked her, what would she think if I was a Chicago police officer? She wasn't cool with that because it's too dangerous. So I was just like, you know what, forget it, I don't even want to go for it. But then when it came to the Northwestern, I asked her again. She said, oh, it seems all right, you know, it's not that bad. She said, go ahead, go for it. And I went for it, I ended up getting the job. You know, and then the job is basically like, the way it is, it's almost like being a glorified security guard. That's what the job is like. It's like pretty much a security guard, but you're getting paid like a police officer, and you got the training of a police officer. So it was like the best of both worlds. Like, it wasn't too dangerous, and then they paid a lot of money. You know, and then it allowed me a lot of time for like creativity. You know what I mean? Like, even when I was in a job, I would be writing, I would be reading. You know, I would be bettering my spiritual development in the martial arts. And then the training was really relevant because we had like firearms training. You know, I had like a defensive tactics instructor certification thing that I went through. I also trained like the police officers in like defensive tactics. So basically, the police officer job is like, in a way, it's like a modern day samurai type of thing. And it wasn't like too dangerous because where I worked was like very, very low key, very peaceful. But you know, if you tell me to be a police officer for the same pay or even less, I mean, it might. I don't even think it would be worth it. You know, because all the dangers you gotta deal with, it's just like not, you know, and you're not even getting paid more. It's just like, the thing is, you know, working at that place, you get paid more, and there's less danger. Being a Chicago police officer, you get paid less, and there's more danger, a lot more danger. So I'm like, you know, that's how I got into it, and it was a good job, but there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of discrimination, there's a lot of like wrongful activities that you see. Along with it, otherwise they're gonna shoot, they're gonna get rid of you. You know, so that's the political aspect of it. But it's almost impossible to find a job that's perfect. You know, and that job had its advantages, and then it had its disadvantages. And you know, I was planning to stay there and work there for the rest of my life, and then just like be low key and just train martial arts on my own with my kids, and just that was it. But then like things happened the way they did, and then now I'm doing what I'm doing now, which I believe is what I was meant to do, you know? So.
Did you ever have a feeling of serving justice when doing a job as a police officer?
Wait, say it again?
Did you ever have a feeling of justice or needing to fulfill justice as a police officer? Did you ever have that feeling?
I mean, when it's not really like, there wasn't that much crime, so a lot of it was like, basically like, you're like babysitting rich people, you know, and like, and a lot of times it's almost like you feel like you're a nuisance to the people because there's no crime, everything's fine, but then you end up creating problems. Like you end up trying to find something minor that's really not even worth your, like it's not even like worth dealing with because it's so minor. It's like because there's no much like raping and killing and hurting other people. Now you're like writing people parking tickets. You're like looking for like traffic stop violations. Or you're like looking for people that speed, and it's not even like major stuff. And then it's like the people that you're supposed to be protecting, they end up disliking you because you end up becoming a nuisance for them. So it's like they're paying property taxes to pay your salary, but then you're writing them tickets to make their life more stressful. And that to me, it ends up becoming like the police officers end up not serving like their, you know, the people, but they end up hurting the people. The people that are not even criminals, they end up like harassing them, you know, and then it's like you end up feeling like you're not even like really being there for what you're meant to be there for. Because I feel that police officers are supposed to be there during like situations of great danger where people's lives are at stake. Not to be like spending 95% of their time, you know, writing tickets to people to make their lives more miserable. You know, you got somebody, this thing that sucks, you know, you got somebody that might be making minimum wage and he's making like, say after taxes are all done, he makes $80 in a day. He's driving to work and then you stop him for speeding like 10 miles over and then you write him a ticket that's $160. You know what I mean? To me, that's not, like that's not true. That's not what police officers are supposed to be there for. You know, you got hardworking people and then you got the police officers that are picking on the citizens that are not violent. You know, they're basically just profiting off of these citizens. You know, and I think, you know, there's a lot of corruption that goes on in the police that really is unsettling to me. That maybe that's probably why I'm not meant to be there. Because I'm the type of person that when I see corruption, it's hard for me to stomach that and I want to speak against that. And as everybody can see, how I speak against the MMA, that's how I speak against corrupted police. It's like, why is this person get this punishment and then this person, he's scot-free? You know, just because he knows somebody. You know, you got somebody that, you know, oh, he's a Northwestern football player, so he could do whatever he wants. He could like rape women and nothing happens to him. You know what I'm saying? And then you got somebody else who's not a football player. He steals like a pencil and then he gets arrested or something. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It's like how is that like justice? You know, like how is that fair? You know, you see a lot of racial profiling going on. You know what I mean? Like people would like target certain races of people, and you know, and then it's not just the police, but it's also the people in the community. They'll literally call the police just because this person's black. They'll be like, hey, you know, this person looks suspicious. Well, why is he suspicious? Oh, because he's dressed like that. It's like, you know, it's just like really, it's just bad, you know, to me. And it's hard to serve justice. I mean, really, it's so peaceful there that they don't even need the police. But the police are there, you know, and a lot of times they just cause more problems than they resolve. That's what I see. You know, so yeah.